I've got a little surprise for you guys today, something special. I am in the magical and beautiful Guanajuato, Mexico. One of the most magical cities, not only in Mexico, but probably the world. So I'm changing gears. I'm calling it kind of like season 2 of my channel, and that's going to be a motorcycle trip through Mexico. I'm going to take off from Guanajuato, Mexico, and going to Mazatlan on the coast, the west coast of Mexico. Going to document the whole thing. Going to try something different, which is called the moto vlog. A lot of you probably know what that is, where you actually have a camera on your helmet and you're talking throughout the trip and explaining things as you go, but through the perspective of watching that as I go on the motorcycle on the helmet cam. So what am I going to do today as sort of an intro is to show you this incredible city of Guanajuato. Today I'm not going to be on the motorcycle. I'm going to be walking, and I'm going to be talking about this new chapter. Let's get started though with this tour of Guanajuato. Many of you may not have heard of it, and it's probably the most hidden gem. And I'll tell you a little bit as we walk. I'll tell you how I found out about Guanajuato. When I was just out of law school, well, first of all, I clerked for a judge at the federal court, but after that, I didn't want to go to a big law firm or whatever. I wanted to do something completely different, at least for maybe a year or whatever. So I contacted the administration at the University of Guanajuato, which is a well-known university, and actually it's so well-known, it's on the currency. The picture of the stairs of the university is on the currency here in Mexico. Look at this. University of Guanajuato. So I contacted some administration folks at the law school, and I said, is there anything a guy like me, I don't speak much Spanish at the time, I could do at the law school just to sort of experience what you do and what you teach, kind of an exchange of education and whatnot. And the only payment I received for helping in the law school was actually language classes at the Spanish school. So I talked to the administration. They said, you know what, not only can you help at the law school, why don't you give your own class, teach your own class? So I come down here, and it was in English. I taught the course in English, but it was to Mexican law students. And it was really a basic course on the U.S. legal system. A basic course on the U.S. legal system, kind of going through just the basics, right? Everything that we might go through on a bar exam in the U.S., criminal law, civil, and things. And because the U.S. legal system is a bit different than the Mexican system. Anyway, so that's how I first experienced Guanajuato, not knowing really about the city itself, just knowing they had a good university. But when I got to the city, just really an incredible, I can't even explain it, but it's this step back in time to kind of a medieval feeling. I mean, you go back into some movie like Robin Hood, right, where they're walking around the town, and it's just a lot of shopkeepers and very old-fashioned. I'll give you an example of how old-fashioned, and not just old-fashioned, from like the 60s. I'm talking about centuries past. That's what Guanajuato is about. For example, living on these hillsides, simple things like sharpening your kitchen knives. A guy will go around with like a certain flute sound, and you hear that flute sound, and you know that guy is there to sharpen your knives. So you might run down to the corner, you have 3 or 4 of your knives in your set, does a quick sharpening. That's an example of how kind of interesting and medieval. Anyway, so that's a little of the background story, but you still can't believe it until you see it, okay? So we're gonna walk around, and what they're known for are these tiny little alleyways, callejones. One thing that sticks out immediately is the hillside. I'll show you what we're dealing with. So, homes just on top of each other, and this is actually a fairly steep hill. You can tell by the leveling of that. Obviously that's level, that's the slope. This is even just a mild hill for what's around the city, but what it is known for is having these callejones, right? Not cajones, but callejones, which are alleyways. Hold on 1 second. There we go. And you can get lost, and it's actually a nice lost because it's just such beautiful colors beautiful scenery, obviously like anywhere. And oh, wait, don't get me started on my whole safety in Mexico thing. It's so overblown, people thinking it's so dangerous in Mexico. I've been to Mexico, I don't know how many times. I lived here for 7 or 8 months. I've been to more cities in Mexico than many Mexicans have been to, and never had one problem. I've been to the most extreme examples of local stuff, you know, taking the so-called chicken buses, you know, 8 hours on a trip, walking, going to remote areas in the mountains, everything you could think of. I have never had one problem. I've never had one problem. I have only had extreme kindness from locals. Actually so kind that sometimes it's a bit like, oh, I didn't expect that. You might tell someone that you meet, oh, I really love whatever, I mean, any example, I love strawberries. Next thing you know, the next day they have a case of strawberries for you because you mentioned them. Like, oh, now you're kind of being careful about what you mention to them, because you don't want to you know, make them go out and get you something. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? We've got problems. So then they can pass, they'll come back up. I think this will be a better place for me to talk. It's a little quieter. But as I was saying, my biggest pet peeve, people who think Mexico is dangerous, and people who, it's like anywhere else, any other, you know, city in the world, and especially in the US, if you go down the wrong alleyway, you don't use your common sense. Yes, there is danger. There's danger of robbing, you know, people robbing things, people stealing things out of your car, people stealing your car. It happens in every city in the US, and it also happens in Mexico. There are drug cartels, but I've never had any type of problem. And you know, in LA, for example, there's also huge gangs. Never had a problem with that either. So, you know, for people to completely write off Mexico and say it's completely unsafe, you shouldn't visit, that's completely ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous, and it's a big pet peeve of mine. So, back to the city. This is a great example of one of the callejones, all right? One of the alleyways. Everywhere, and a lot of times you'll find just hidden little shops, little bakeries, little restaurants, you know, tailors that will. I actually took these jeans. I took these jeans yesterday to the tailor because I wanted something hemmed on the ankle, just to slim them down a little bit. What was it? It was $4 and less than 24 hours to complete, and very well, I mean, great craftsmanship. Saludos. Gracias. Anyway, why is this city so magical? I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to show you the main downtown. I'm walking there now. Oh, this is really the main downtown. Everything, I mean, these colonial buildings, the alleyways, the people you see. Everybody on the street says hi to you, says good morning. You gotta get out of the way. Here's the other thing. Look, this alley, you gotta get out of the way for cars to pass because they come within a foot or so of you. You just step out of the way, no problem. Okay, well, I can't really walk through here until all these cars pass. Also, as I was taking a photo, almost fell off this ledge. That's not good. You know, one of these deals, like you take a photo and it's like, oh hey, so I'm just sitting here, and I step back one step. Next thing you know, you're falling 5 feet into this situation. All right, so we're walking into kind of the main city center. It all is kind of a bowl shape, and it goes down from these hills on top of the panoramica, which is the outer edge of the bowl, if you will, where you can see the entire city. And it goes down into the bottom of the bowl, and that's where kind of the city center is, the life of the city, where you have, you know, such incredible architecture and the colors of the hillsides. I mean, you can see behind me what it looks like, you know, walking around here. Cobblestone streets, friendly people, amazing food. Again, watch out for the cars. Look at this. So you got to step to the side. Okay. And no problems. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
We've got a little you know, lady cleaning up the street. That's the other thing. Very clean in the main part. I mean, there are kind of the outsides. There's some trash and things, but the main center is very clean. You have shopkeepers who come out every morning, you know, sweeping in front of their shops, picking up trash. Okay, look at that. Cool pink building. Little wine shop here. It's not open yet. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Going down this alleyway, you got a lot of people doing, you know, doing their jobs. You got delivery trucks. Trying to get through these little streets is really quite interesting. And every once in a while, actually quite often, you're going to see these little convenience stores, kind of like, you know, a 7-Eleven, except it's a local person with a tiny little shop, you know, with their produce. People selling flowers. You got people making tortillas. Right. Hola. Pollo, ¿ah? Yes. Muy bien. Buenos días. Gracias. Flower sales. This is what I'm talking about when you get to the main heart of the El Centro, which is the city center. Look at this. Look at this alleyway. Buenos dias. Yes. Now, when I get to the downtown and you know, close to people, I want to make sure to put on my mask. It is during the pandemic time here, and as you all know, you can't really wear sunglasses with the mask on. It gets fogged up. So here you go, people selling stuff in the street, you know, produce, things like that. And a lot of times you can trust the street food. You know, you just use your good judgment, use your common sense. You can trust the street food. Sometimes if it looks super dirty, obviously don't eat there. I mean, common sense. If it's sort of, you know, a clean looking situation, or, you know, someone who looks like they could be your friend's mother and just clean and came out of the kitchen, or their father or whatever, most likely it's going to be clean, just a local person trying to sell some items, make some money. Here's an example. Look at this. So, you're selling things on the street just like this. Hola. Hi. This particular plaza, one of my favorite things to do is to buy what's called champorado. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's sort of not a chocolate milk. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's a nice, they sell it in the mornings, kind of a breakfast drink. Actually, I'll ask the lady what champorado is. Disculpe, buenos días.
Buenos días.
Champorado?
Sí.
Y es possible explain por el camera qué es champorado?
Masa de puspas sin cal.
Okay.
Con canela.
Masa.
Sin cal.
Sin can.
Porque la tortilla lleva cal.
Okay.
Y canela y chocolate.
Okay. Okay, muy bien. So it's like a corn, kind of has corn and chocolate and something else, but I couldn't understand because the bus going by. But could I have puedo comprar? Gracias. Oh no, sí, gracias. So, you know, she's really nice. She asked if I wanted to even try it first before I bought the whole cup. And by the way, the cup of it is, I think, less than $1. Okay, muy bien. So it's 15 pesos, which is like less than $1, you know, 75 cents. for this nice cup of, essentially it's a unique taste. It's a unique corn hot chocolate. And also, this is actually a famous little gordita location where they'll sell these gorditas on the street, which are just incredible. And then they put the, and then they fill the gorditas. Hola, buenos días. Gracias. And then the filling for the gorditas, like meat or eggs or chorizo, is in those plastic containers right there. Esta gordita es muy famoso, ¿eh?
Sí.
Porque...
El menú, ¿eh?
Okay, the menu. Hace mucho tiempo en este lugar, ¿eh?
Sí.
Muy bien.
41
And then-
años, joven.
Oh, wow. 40?
41.
Oh, 41 years in this location. Incredible. So then you put the
Sí,
carne.
¿rellenas con algo? ¿Le ofrezco alguna?
Okay. Oh, pero a mí no ahora, pero tal vez otro día. Gracias. Okay, so yeah, they have various types of meats and things in these cups. Okay, gracias. But it's very well known. They have lots of people that wait out in front of it. You got to be here at least a week or so before you learn a lot of these little alleyways. But you do get familiar with it. You know, this is just a tiny little hardware store, you know. So, entering another plaza. I'm not sure what it's called. I will find out. So this is... Hola.
Hola, bienvenido a tu lugar para desayunar.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo se llama esta plaza?
La plazuela de San Fernando.
Fernando.
Ajá.
Plaza San Fernando.
Sí.
Gracias. Oh, we got a guy playing music. Wait, where is he? Is he on the camera? Yeah. Cool. Fountains. This is a cool plaza. Plaza San Fernando. Look at all these little restaurant cafes, street cafes and whatnot. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to stop there for the day. You get the idea of Guanajuato, just walking around and showing you some of these more unique spots and kind of what it's like just to walk around and give you that feeling. Obviously, there's tons of videos out there that'll show you more of the sights around the city, but I wanted to kind of give you a feeling of as if you were here walking around, what it's like. I've got a lot more to see, and I'm going to have a lot more footage, so I'll probably make this into 2 episodes for the walk around of the city. So thanks for watching. Tune in next time. We'll get these out and then we'll start our bike tour of Mexico. Really looking forward to showing you all that. See you next time.